Okay, so our last gadget that we have here before we go into overtime is going to be our description. So now, uh, edit gadgets are pretty cool because they're kind of like a text box on steroids. Um, you can use them just as text box on steroids. So you have a multi-column or multi-row, endless multi-row list of data in a text box in an edit box. Uh, you can treat them as if they're a list box, and this is kind of cool. You could come in here and let's do this. Let's start playing with this because this has some hidden secrets really inside him. So first, let's come in here and let's do a set gadget text. Okay, so we're gonna say that we're gonna set our value to we're gonna select U and say okay, U equal let's come over and say George Washington. Okay, that's cool. And then you know what? Let's come over here and let's add a pound LF dollar. For those who don't know, that's saying I want. Oops, where did my cursor? I hit return, didn't I? All right, let's get out here. So what I just added was a line feed. Now I could add a line feed carriage return, which is LFCR or CRLF. But really all I believe we need to do is that. And then I can say Martha Washington. Okay, now let's see what we get in our edit. Oh, we're going to get an error. What did I do? Did I forget a plus? Hold on. Yep, I forgot a plus. Okay, whoops, not there. Here. There we go. Okay, so now he compiles, everybody's happy, and now we have George and Martha Washington stacked on top of each other. Well, there's another way we can do this. Where's the rest of our form? Why is that freaking out? Hold on, something's not right. You know what we didn't do? Yep, we didn't do something. That's why he's freaking out. We need to come into you, and I put this in a really bad spot. Did you see how the screen stopped? So an editor, the value was set, right? I put that down here in the loop. So he got to this, and then he went in and he just kept writing those two lines over and over and over and over to the editor. So I screwed up. I should have put that up here because this is a one-time hit. So let's do that again and let's see if we get the rest of our form back this time. So that's an interesting one. There you go. We got George and Martha Washington. George is on line 1 or 0, and you're on line 1. All right, now, here's something you can do. This is kind of cool. Instead of doing that, why don't we do a set gadget item text? Okay, very similar to what we did in the combo box, except we added a gadget item here. Actually, I think maybe that's, no. I think this will work. Let's just see. Sometimes you got to play with code to see what's going to happen. And we're going to say line 0, and let's say George Washington. And then we can copy that and go to, oh, what the heck? Let's say line 3. So we're going to separate them by a little bit and say, okay, Martha Okay. So now when that runs on line 0, we should have George, and he has, oh, he didn't do it. Look at that. He put them right together. Well, that wasn't what I wanted. So let's see. Doesn't that work on you? Sometimes we just guess wrong. Ah, gadget item, first item is 0. Okay, does that work with, it works with editor gadget. What do you want us to do? Oh, you know what? He's probably get the read only, get the wrap. Ah, he wants the separation, and on Windows you want just 10. So I guess he does want it to be this other way. But that's very weird. Set gadget sets a specified line text. So why didn't that work? That should be set gadget item text sets the specified line text. Okay. Why don't we say 1 and 2? And it might be because there's nothing there. So he could be, if you got nothing there, he may not know what to do. But let's try 1 and 2 and see. Now he's still doing them back to back. Okay, well, I guess it kind of doesn't work the way I think it ought to work. And, you know, I'm sure the gods of PureBasic can come along and do that. They'll figure out some way that I did something wrong. Okay, so let's come in here and we can say LF dollar and say there's 2 line feeds between them. And then you can do this. Now, so there you go. And I think it has to do with the fact that there's nothing there. How can I skip a line if there's no line? But what we can do is come down here and let's say, what do we want to say? Let's say, I guess on, let's raise an event of left click. Okay. Is that right? Do I want to do that or do I just want to say change? I bet we can do it this way. So let's come into change and say get gadget item text. And oops, I didn't want all that junk. Okay, I just wanted you. So let's go ahead and get him and say, let's get line, what did we put him in at the top? Wasn't it 0? Okay, so we're going to do this. Let's do a debug. So when he's left clicked or changed, excuse me, when the change event fires, he's going to return the value of line 0. All right. So if we come back up here, let's see, line 0 should be George. So let's go ahead and post our event and say, okay, templates here. Whoops, that's not it. Templates. So post event. And so I guess I just should have just gone up and copied it, huh? Because we're going to just kind of take this and come down here. And then the gadget is this guy. And he goes there. And then we come over here and we have event type change. So we're going to raise the event after that gets put in there. And we have 2 of them now. So we're going to get the first one to fires first and then this guy fires. So let's go ahead and hit play. And let's see what we get. We've got George Washington printing over here. Notice that. And notice also that he fired after this first one fired. So they fire in the same order that you have them up there. And so it kicks down and does all of that. So we've now played with all of our gadgets. And what I'm going to go do, I guess on the next video, that pretty much concludes this one. It shows you how to screw with just about all of these guys pretty heavily. What I want to do is throw in a bunch more gadgets here, and let's take on gadgets one at a time so you can see how to play with them. And that's an important thing, to know what are the get gadget, set gadget values that you can play with on these and interact with the various gadgets in the system. Some of this is not necessarily straightforward. It's definitely not something that you're going to think of. So before I go, one thing I would like to point out is down here, and this is a Pete-ism, where we do the index and then we check to see if the index is greater and do this. What you can do, let me see, you don't have to do it this way. You could come over here and just put an if here. Get rid of this. So if that is greater than -1, you can stack these things. You get some outrageous sized lines sometimes. But let's go ahead and say, let's get the gadget item data, right? But instead of using index, I'm going to go ahead and put the sentence in here that says get the gadget state of this guy. So now we don't have index being used at all. We just used him to call himself, and we're stacking it, and that works just fine. You don't have to intermediarily put them into variables and then use them as variables. It'll all work. It's just in my world and how I like to do code. I like to have the nice, relatively neat and sweet. We say index equals, and get rid of this. And then we can easily see that we're testing is index greater than -1. And then over here, instead of this massively monstrous beast, it's just index. So my line isn't 3,000 characters long. It's relatively a short line per se. Some of these do get quite large, but they don't have to. So to me, that's a lot easier to read here. And I guess that pretty much concludes this video. I'll think of something else probably tomorrow. It's getting kind of late here. And I'll get these videos. This will probably break into 3 more. So I'll get these up on the web. Thanks for your time, everybody.